Hello, my name is Abrielle Negretti, and this is my presentation on my e-portfolio for my Education 325 Children's Literature course. We're going to start off on my home page, which is where I have my About Me page. On this page, I include my contacts for both my student email and my work, and just a little bit about myself and what I'm doing at the University of La Verne. I mentioned that I'm an elementary education major, that I'm a sophomore, and then just some of the things that I'm involved in at school as a first-generation student. I'm trying to immerse myself. Like, I'm a housing resident assistant, housing office assistant. I work at the Office of Civic and Community Engagement as a student lead, and I'm also one of the ambassadors for the Andrew Goodman Foundation here at La Verne. I also mentioned a little bit about my family as the youngest of six other siblings. I think this is just some important information if you want to get to know me. And one of the quotes that I find explains myself as a teacher a lot. I put, a good teacher can inspire hope, ignite the imagination, and instill a love of learning. This brings me to my educational philosophy, which is where I explain what I want to accomplish as a teacher and how I plan to teach in the future. Here, I explain that overall, I see my teaching philosophy to be founded on the belief that every child should be given equal opportunity through education. I believe as a teacher that it is my job to help those who need help, give time and understanding to those who learn at different speeds, and to help foster a love for education from every type of learner. I see my duty as an educator to be helping expose children to arts and sciences and anything that can positively impact their idea of education. I do not think there is one true right way to teach, but instead see it as a consistently fluid and changing practice that should reflect on the students. For me, this means that education should always be progressive and work to keep updated with the times. And in the future, I hope to teach at the elementary level, more specifically second, third, or fourth in the Upland Unified School District, where I myself grew up learning. After this, I have my resume, which is just where I include my present resume, what that means, my current work experience, my education level, and just references, awards, certifications, and skills, because I just think this is something important to have on an e-portfolio if I would be sharing this with future employers. Next, I have some inspiration. For my inspiration, I put down theater and education just because I believe that utilizing theater is really important as an educator because it makes things more interesting for students, and it helps a lot in making them a little bit more motivated and bringing in some creative outlets for them. I plan on utilizing the skills that I learned myself from being in theater all throughout high school, by incorporating a lot of games and activities that play on creative thinking and strengthening a value for arts in children. So this was just mentioned just because I find it as an inspiration for myself and really using an experience that I held in the past on something that I can do in the future for students. Next, I have resources for you. So this is just where I include some resources first for students. I mentioned FunBrain and BrainPop just because I found that these are two of the most actively used sites online where students can go to play games so they can have fun but also learn at the same time. I include BrainPop just because I remember growing up with these videos and I really use them for any subject. They can be used for English, they can be used for math, arts, music, health, really anything. They have a video on it, and I just think it's a really great way for students to look at videos but still be entertained. I also include links for teachers. So, as a teacher, I think it's important to utilize resources when you yourself don't have all the capacity to teach something. I think that Khan Academy is really useful because it has a lot of free videos and it also has experts teaching these subjects. So sometimes as a teacher, we won't be able to explain something the best way, but there are experts that can, and I think it's important to understand that you don't always have to teach it, that you can rely on technology like this to help you. I also included TED Ed videos for customized lessons because I think a lot of TED Talks are really influential. They have a lot of great ideas that are incorporated throughout them that I just simply couldn't say in the same way. And I think it's important to utilize videos like this as well because of the subject matter that a lot of these TED Talkers talk about in a much better way than I possibly could. I also included this site that's 23 fun reading games for kids. This is just some resources for a teacher that wants to teach about reading because I think that the games that were presented within this website were really fun and they range in different ages, so you can look at different ages from like 5-year-olds all the way up to 6 and up, 7 and up, and different games to help with reading. I also include copyright and fair use for teachers just as a reminder about educators' guides to copyright and fair use, and like what you can use in the classroom and how you should be using things in the classroom, just to make sure you don't get in any trouble by using something that's copyright. Next, I'm going to go to Common Core Standards. I just include third grade English and third grade math standards because this is my hope hoped for grade level that I want to teach in the future. So here I just put the links to both so that you can find them and go to some of the Common Core standards that are there for both of them to reference off of if you're going to be creating any lesson plans in the future. From here, I have some portfolio materials, and this is just some activities that I've done in my past classes for my education major. I had to write a book before about neurodiversity, and I just included my project here, and then a different video where I taught an ocean life science lesson online, and I connected my YouTube video here so you can watch it in the future. But from this, I go to my children's literature page, which is where I have all of my activities that I've done throughout the year. So first I go into virtual discussions, and here in my reflection I just talk about how my assigned groups evaluated books and how I think these were helpful because they showed me how others would think about lesson planning and taught me activities and perspectives I could try to incorporate in my own teaching style. I think that this is important because it really helped to show me that, diversity of thought helps remind me that as a teacher, I need to think about the differences of all of my future students. And this means thinking about the way that I teach the lesson planning that I plan to do and really thinking outside of the box and trying to extend beyond what I myself know and would want to learn from because others learn differently. Next is my reader's response blog. I put a link right here so you could go to my blog and check out some of the things that I've said. My reflection for this is talking about how this helped prepare me for my future as a teacher because it required me to not only read a diverse group of books that I hadn't really previously been exposed to, but it also gave me the opportunity to sketch out some lessons and find some materials and links that I can hold onto and use in my future classrooms. I thought that this was really cool. Having these materials and links and having them all in one place like WordPress is really easy for me to go back to because I've used WordPress in the past, and now I can go back to this not only for this course, but my past courses where I have a lot of information that I can use in the future with. Next is my family literacy backpack, and this was one of the projects that I really enjoyed the most because it gave me a creative outlet to decide for myself what I want my students to take away from these sort of activities. And for me, this gave me a chance to really focus on art because I was reminded that as criteria for grade levels go up, so does the chance to incorporate fun art opportunities in the classroom. And I think something like this would be a great way for students to be able to bring home some activities if we don't have time in the classroom, and for them to be able to do something fun like this, but also get some family time as well. I think I would love to use something like this, maybe if we're going to go on winter break or spring break, just as a way to remind students to continue thinking academically through that break, but also give them a chance to do so in a fun way that doesn't really make them think about it as homework, but think about it as something fun that they get to do with their family. Next, I have my book trailer that I worked on. I linked the video here so you can watch my book trailer that I created. And I talked just about how I wasn't really too aware of how to make new videos like this. So this was really one of the most challenging for me to create because I didn't really have experience making a video or a movie like this and using the software that I did. But it did show up to be as one of the most rewarding for me because I was excited to try something new like this, try new resources and technology because I know as a future I'm always going to have to be searching for what my students will learn best from, even if it's out of my comfort zone. And this really proved to me that this would be something that my future students could find really interesting, but it did push me to have to learn it, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity. Then I have my virtual library, which was the last thing that I went over. And this was one of my favorites as well, just because it helped to expose me to a lot of genres of books I didn't grow up reading myself, just because I read a lot from the fantasy genre. And being able to learn about creating my own library as well also showed to prove that there's a lot of resources out there that I can use as a teacher to help extend my classroom and make it better. And this is something that I'm definitely going to start utilizing. I've definitely already started utilizing by just adding books onto it whenever I think of one that I really enjoyed that I want to have in my classroom, because now I have somewhere to kind of save all of these ideas and all of these books that I hope to buy in the future, and I can look back on this and think, oh, like, oh, this is a book I really want in my library and I should purchase it and get it off of this list. So overall, I'm just really grateful for this course and everything that it's taught me. I think all of the activities that I've done have, in some way, shape, or another, taught me something that I will definitely be bringing into my future classroom and utilizing for myself as a teacher in in an elementary school. So I hope this was a good way to kind of wrap up the year, wrap up all of the work that I've done for my children's literature course, and show all of the opportunities I've had to grow as not just a student, but a future teacher, and what I'm going to be able to do and how I'm going to be able to address some of my students' needs. Thank you so much for this course. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great day.